What is going on, everybody? This is TGA. We're in Bristol. We've got some protests going on around here. Local council said no. Local democracy is being trashed. Can't argue with that. How you doing?
Yeah, fine, thanks. And you?
I'm good, thanks.
Yeah, you shooting a video?
I am, yes.
So anything you want to know?
So what's I'm guessing this is regarding with emissions and everything like that.
So this is a campaign against the expansion of Bristol Airport. It's been refused by the local council, which was North Somerset, and then it was appealed. And yesterday and today is a 2-day High Court in session. The court behind us there. To look into the points of law as to whether the government have broken the law by giving the go-ahead for the airport expansion. So it's what's called a judicial review.
So it was initially cancelled, wasn't it? So the expansion of the airport, at least postponed.
The North Somerset Council, based in Weston-super-Mare, threw it out by a huge majority. The airport company appealed. And then there was a 3 months public inquiry. Then it went up to the government because it's saying this isn't just a local issue, it's a national issue.
Definitely.
And they could make the decision over the head of the local council. And now it's been challenged in a High Court judicial review as to whether the government has erred in law. So it's been a long story, but campaigners have been here for yesterday and today. Despite the awful weather, it's been great. It's dry at the moment. We've had huge amounts of local media attention. We've had choirs, theatrical performances. There's a team called the Landing Crew. They're dressed up like the people who direct airplanes. Yes. We've got the Red Rebels, which are like living Grecian statues in dripping red scarlet. We've got the Aged Agitators in their silver capes. We've had choirs. We've had all sorts of theatrical stunts for the local media, and we've had huge amounts of.
You get a few thousand viewers that I get on YouTube watching you now as well.
Oh, I thought you were doing it now. That's what I was giving you a summary.
This is going to go out on my YouTube channel, and I get a few thousand viewers. A bit more publicity for the cause as well.
We've even had the West of England Combined Authority WECA Mayor come down 2 days running to make statements here. So it's a really important case. It's not just a local issue. Throughout the country there's about 20 regional airports and they've all got expansion plans in pipeline, and this is at the front of the queue. So depending upon which way this goes, and of course we're standing here as COP27 is taking place, and climate change is even higher on the agenda.
Definitely, Bristol's bringing in the clean air zone now as well.
Are getting more and more serious, that we're getting near the edge of tipping points into runaway climate change and the end of life on this planet.
Well, yeah. Just stop oil for a start.
Yeah, they've been blocking the M25, haven't they, again, trying to get their word out.
But it's not. The government still aren't changing their minds on it. That's the problem. So
it's awful, isn't it?
It is.
And what else are protesters supposed to do? Between the rock and the hard place.
Yeah, that's all you can do, really. And
cheers.
Hi, you're welcome.
Great what you're doing, mate. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
If you're back this way about 4 o'clock, there's some people sitting in the court that are coming out. The media might come just for the end of the court hearing. So it's been a very strong local news story.
Oh, brilliant.
Hey, thanks for what you're doing.
No, you're very welcome. I'll be around the area, all right?
Here's something very interesting.
Yeah, let me have a look.
So the public inquiry gave the public the chance to comment for and against the expansion of the airport. That volume was supporting the expansion of the airport, and those 7 volumes were all the objections. So you can see that the public, know what they're talking about, and the majority of people opposed the expansion of the airport by a substantial majority.
And that should be the word of the public, that we're supposed to be a democratic society. Yeah.
We've gone already.
Exactly.
Cheers,
anyway, you're welcome. Take care. There we are. So that's about the expansion of Bristol Airport, which is still on the cards. I thought that had been cancelled completely. but we're heading down to Bristol Temple Meads to talk about what's going on currently with the rail strikes. With that, it comes down to climate change again. More people travelling in diesel, petrol vehicles and high polluting vehicles rather than catching the train, because the trains have been on strike preventing people from using cleaner forms of energy, and the hydrogen trains, the electric trains, they've been postponed as well. The more economic modes of transport are being overpriced and not reliable for the public, which there needs to be more investment into clean energy in this country. But we're going to pick this back up when we get down to Bristol Temple Meads. Right, so we're coming round to Temple Meads now. Gonna cross over. We're going to cross over, walk up here, heading up to British Transport Police. Again, covering the rail strikes. There's still ongoing rail strikes. Police, British Transport Police. So this is Bristol Temple Meads railway station. Bristol's not even that far from me. And yet, I've never covered BTP. I've done the Bridewell, I've done Kenneth Steele, so I've done even the Somerset round here, but I haven't done BTP, Bristol City Centre. Surprise for me. So we're going to pick it back up when we get a bit closer, guys. Back recording. This is BTP. They got their door open. Can you walk in? They've only got one vehicle here, so they must be out responding to other stations. All right. Yeah. This is BTP. Right. Okay. Back recording. This is BTP. They got their door open. Can you walk in? They've only got one vehicle here. Yeah, they got an inquiry office. Is this an inquiry office? Hello.
Okay.
Yeah, not too bad. Is this a front counter?
It is, yes.
Oh, I didn't know they had a front counter.
Yeah, we do.
British
yeah.
Transport Police.
Yeah.
You're an officer, are you?
Yes, detective.
Detective. Well, I've never met a detective from BTP.
There you go.
I met a detective from Avon and Somerset, but never from British Transport Police.
Well, a much smaller force. That's
Ah,
what it
yeah.
was, so.
Well, you cover the railways, don't you?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Bristol Coast, we cover very much, well, down to Taunton, up to Gloucester.
all that area.
Yeah.
Big area.
Yeah, and we're the only 24/7 post as well, so.
Really?
It's a big right
So, yeah, I think Bath's got one, hasn't it?
Yeah, they sort of do. Yeah.
Bath does, yeah.
Right.
You doing all
We
right?
go to use the toilets, right?
Yeah, of course you can.
Where else? Down into that one?
Yeah, down to the left.
And then on the left?
Yes, you got it.
So Bath's got one, so how many others are there in
Bath has
there?
got one sort of now and then, depends if we've got enough staff in there.
I don't think there's many in the Avon and Somerset constabulary area, is there really? No.
No, they're all based in either Reading or Swindon.
Oh, right. Do you have a collar number?
3294.
3294.
Yes.
Ah, nice, nice. It's a lovely station, Bristol Temple Meads. So I'd imagine you respond to calls quite a lot, like Bristol Parkway, Filton Abbey Wood up that way.
Yeah.
So, oh wow, well, it is interesting.
Yeah.
I'm going to get some photos in the station in a bit as well.
Yeah, do. It's honestly, it's a beautiful station.
Definitely.
It really is. It's one of the oldest in the country too.
And this looks like a nice police office as well, to be fair.
Wow, we'll be moving out soon. We're moving down the roads.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You're getting your own building, is it? Or?
I think so. I mean, I think the railway just wants, the businesses in here make some money, so I don't blame them. So we shouldn't be too far.
So you can have your own like BTP police station outside, or?
I don't know at the moment. So I know it's happening. I just don't know any details about it.
Ah, right. No worries.
Okay.
Yeah. You have a good day, detective. That's British Transport Police here in Bristol Temple Meads. Look at this lovely station. Temple Meads. Look at it. I would love to get a drone up, but it's a busy train station. I don't think that's a good idea. I mean, legally you could, I believe, but I'm gonna walk in with the camera, see what we get. BTP know we can legally do this, so legally take photos in train stations. And this is what I do, I test whether they respect. And this is the Network Rail station in front of Temple Meads. Network Rail's got guidelines on photography in stations, which you're perfectly entitled to do. So you can see, look, Temple Meads, Network Rail. They say not to take photos of cameras or anything like that. But it's beautiful though, isn't it? Temple Meads. Stunning train station. Got some trains here. Look at that, lads. It's an old ticket booth, isn't it? So you're not allowed to use flash. So, see if we can get some photos of the train here. You see the HST around there, just about. So we got upper crest here. Well, there's some photos now. Look at this. So we're doing a bit of work here, look. See, I'm going to get a video of that. On the other platforms, you can't go over unless you got a ticket, I don't think. So I'm going to get this train going out. It's GWR as well. It's this train going out. Oh, sorry mate, trying to get the train coming out. It's like it's looking at me. Stunning station, but look at it, look at it. See if we can get any better shots of the train. There we go. There we go. Hopefully these people can get the shot. Oh, they're standing right in the shot. Come on mate, have the shot. Oh, you look, stood in my shot, but you look good on there, mate. 43172. So this is Temple Meads station. So you need a ticket to go through. I don't have a ticket. So, King of Brunel. Oh, we got one coming in cross country, I think it is. So we can get a shot of that from here. Members of the public want to walk in front of my shot, so I'm for video on camera. Oh, I don't know, set that to manual because it's country. There we are. I don't know when this HST is going out. It's taking a while, sight here. Alright? So posters that you see at most stations. It's so loud in here, I you can't hear a word I'm saying. So, very rare. Tell you what, that's very rare.
What are you taking pictures of, mate?
Anything I can see.
Okay, well, it doesn't,
Very historic building.
it's not a good look, mate. I don't mean that horribly.
It's not a good look, what are you trying to say?
No, I'm sure you're going to look at it's with the mask, it just looks a bit dodgy.
Alright.
We've had a few people. So, have you got a pass or anything?
I don't need a pass, network rail property.
Right, come on in then, mate. You do, it's up to our supervisor, mate, not them. Come on in.
Alright.
I'm not being funny with you, mate, it's just we've got other things to do.
I spoke to BTP anyway, so.
Pop into our information point, mate, where the long loop sign is. I'll
Okay.
see that. It's all good, mate.
I can get better shots from here anyway. There's upper crust. Overpriced. Information, is it? Is that British Transport, please? Is it just open? Hello. I was asked to come in here just because I'm taking photos on the platform. So I was taking photos of the trains coming in.
Who's asked you to come in?
One of the GWR staff.
So what are you doing?
I'm just taking photos of the trains.
Are you videoing as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do kind of need permission because.
See, that's the thing. This is a network rail station, right? Correct.
Right.
So the network rail guidelines say you don't. They say you could take photos at stations provided you do not sell them and you're not taking photos of security equipment, things like that.
Right. Okay.
So if we bring up the guidelines, network rail. As far as I'm aware, Bristol Temple Meads is owned by
It is
Network
owned by
Rail.
Network
Yeah.
Rail.
So if I show you the guidelines, I'm guessing I don't know if I'm supposed to film in here. I'll leave if I need to.
What are you filming? The trains?
Yeah, just the trains
Right.
and just the station because it's a beautiful old
I
building.
mean, they will always ask what it is you're doing. I mean, obviously, that for security measure, they'll always ask anybody with a camera. Bear with me.
I wouldn't have minded if I hadn't spoke to BTP first, but
Sorry?
if I hadn't spoke to BTP first, so literally I spoke to them first.
I know the guidelines, lovely. You don't need to show.
Oh, you know the
It's just-
guidelines, yeah.
Yeah. And I do know the guide. I mean, anyone that comes in saying, "Can they?" I'll be honest, it's probably all the equipment that
Yeah.
they're probably thinking, okay. And obviously, they are only doing their job, asking what it is you're doing, probably to see if you're signing in. But obviously, I don't need to sign you in as regards to take photos. But obviously, yeah.
So if you're not, I'm not using anything bulky.
No.
I'm not. Hello.
Yeah, taking pictures of CCTV.
I wasn't taking any pictures of the CCTV.
Just had a report from one of our managers.
Well, whoever said that is not telling the truth.
Right.
Because I've just been taking photos of all the architecture of the trains. Because this obviously this station was built by Eisenberg, King of Brunel. It's a beautiful old building, and I find it interesting.
Okay.
I don't think it's unusual at all to take photos of the architecture of this nature and this history. To be honest.
So he said that you were taking pictures of the CCTV cameras.
Yeah, that's not true.
Can we have a quick look at your camera bit? Is that alright?
Yeah, can I have a look at this one? This one's recording, so I can't show you that one.
Oh yeah, it's fine.
So it's just this one. Took some of the.
Because obviously if anything's on here. But...
So it's just the trains there.
Please don't take pictures of staff without their permission. Okay? If there's anyone along, can you not take pictures of them?
If anyone's approached me, then that's a different matter.
I don't have a problem with you taking pictures of...
Well, it's beautiful architecture, you must
Yeah,
admit,
but
so
please don't take any pictures of staff without their permission.
they seem fine.
Yeah, I know, however, I'd rather you did it. Not
Well, that's down to the individual, really, isn't it? So rather than somebody else telling me that somebody else someone they post taken.
Yeah.
So
we might
Did you
have a
ask their permission
situation where people
that you could take
and if they said no, I'd say okay.
No, but did you
So-
ask if you're taking pictures with people in them? If you asked, it's out of courtesy, you should really ask.
If they're in the photo, they're in the foreground, then I'm just
no, it's
taking
not.
photos
No.
of.
What if I
of
was
the-
running
of
from
the
my
object.
estranged husband and wants to kill me?
Yeah, so
It's unfortunate.
no,
isn't it?
No, it's not
no, it's not
unfortunate.
unfortunate. If you want to
People shouldn't have that big
continue
face of
taking
worry.
pictures in here, then you need to respect that I don't want you taking pictures of the staff, please, okay?
Fine.
All right?
All right.
That's fine. You take pictures, but if I see you taking pictures of staff again, I'll speak to the BTP, alright?
I've just spoken to BTP, they're
I
fine.
don't want you taking pictures of the staff.
They know what I'm allowed to
okay?
do, so don't... Just say, just don't dictate anything to me, because that's a bit rude, isn't
Sorry?
it? If you're trying to make demands, that's a bit rude,
I'm
isn't
not
it?
making demands, I just don't want you to, as she said, I don't want my staff.
Just
in
your tone of
pictures,
voice
right?
sounds a bit
Okay?
aggressive.
No, it's not.
And I
I
don't
mean,
like-
we do have the right to remove
We
the
do.
conversation at any point.
Okay. Yeah, so if you- yeah,
that's
okay.
why we're having a conversation with
Right.
you.
Well, surely that'll be down to the station manager or British Transport
Yeah, this
Authority.
is
I'm
me.
station
So you're
management
the
and
station
she's
manager.
supervisor, so
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
you've got to.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
No worries. Okay.
Okay.
So let's see if any more trains are going to come in. So we're going to walk down and see if we can see any more trains. Very different engagement to Liverpool Lime Street, where we had a lovely interaction with the station manager, head of security there. It's a nice station, this is beautiful. It'd be a lot nicer if they didn't have all this damn scaffold up there. It sort of ruins the look of the station a bit. So let's have a walk down there and see if we can see any trains. She was quite rude, to be honest. I didn't like that. Wow, look at this! See the days of Isambard Kingdom Brunel. Very rude. Looks like BTP, network rail staff. So is it this way? I don't know, it's Westbury, GWR service. Right. You can keep left, so you keep left on that side. Right, we're still doing this. Customer list. Got a few units, class 165, 134, 7 beach train. Rude. Very rude. Very rude station staff. Right. There we are. Oh, it's one of the old units. One of the first Great Western. There we are. Let's get one of those coming in. Isn't it? Oh yeah, that's absolute lies. Trying to say I'm taking photos of cameras. I'm not taking any photos of cameras. It's a lie. That's lies. Well, not you anyway. I took loads of photos of cameras at Abbey Wood, but not you. The little buggies there. They're cool. I like those. It's awesome. Yeah, it is a beautiful station. It's Temple Meads. If anything, a bit ruined, but you know, It's what it is. And they've got the, see there, they've got the ramps there for disabled people to be able to get on the train. Bristol Temple Meads. Got some nice artwork, well. I appreciate that. Good day, my friend. GWR. Bristol Temple Meads. Great Western Railway. That's a beautiful one, look. Edward the First of Bristol Temple Meads. Wow. Stunning. Well, to be fair, he didn't give me access to the platform, so... Beautiful station. Absolutely beautiful station. Lovely flowers, lovely artwork. It's beautiful. So you can weigh, got for measuring bags over there. Right, so the Azuma, what's it? IET, yeah. IET's over here on this platform. Some photos of the IET. Wow, look at the old signage. That's what it's worth seeing. Sorry. IET. There's Bristol. Oh, it's a nice station, gotta say. The one from got all these other businesses inside the stations. They're even moving out BTP from the main station itself, as we've spoken to that detective. And BTP is getting moved. So, Lost Property Office. Well, there we're just walking past that way. So they'll try and drag us out the bloody station. It's not right, is it? Starbucks for that. BTP, because well, that's BTP. Where's the other BTP vehicles? They must be out. They're closed up. They got a dog unit here. Wow. How you doing? All right? Hello. I just want. Can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no problem, mate. I'll see you.
Thank you very much.
So, in regards to the railway bylaws, oh sorry mate, do you want to speak to him first? Or?
What way to get going?
If you come out there, why that white van is, take a left, that's the station approach road, and then you want to hang a right at the end of there and then make your way out into the city centre.
Hi, so in regard to the railway bylaws, you know, where somebody can, any railway staff remove someone from the station?
Yeah, so, right. You're talking to an ex-railway policeman, not a railway policeman. I'm just dropping it.
Oh, you Avon and Somerset?
Yes, I am.
Right.
But what I can tell you, they can. So it doesn't have to be a police officer. It can be any sort of appointed member of railway staff.
So I thought that'd be like station manager or somebody of higher higher authority.
In terms of the, I'm sure this question's leading somewhere because you're going to tell me in a minute something's happened. But yeah, it can be anyone, any member of rail staff. In practice, you generally be looking at somebody with a bit of authority. But I wouldn't. Whilst the power exists in the 8 or so years I worked for this lot, I can't think of many occasions where I've seen it exercised, if that makes sense.
I got you. But I know you're doing all right. But yeah, that's the thing. They did say inside, if I get any member of staff in my photos, that they'll literally have me removed from the station.
No, see, that's not taking photos in a public. Obviously, if you go on the other side of the gate line, clearly you can't just wander through there, so because that's kind of on payment only. But you are in a public space. You are entitled to take photos. They work in a public-facing environment, and they have the same expectation of privacy that you and I do.
Exactly.
Right? So I have had this discussion with railway staff before, where they've said, this person's filming me, this person's taking photos, with the most surveillanced country in the world.
Exactly, look how many cameras are in the station.
I can't walk into the city centre without being picked up probably on 50 different cameras. So if you have any problems with it, I'm sure the guys in here will be happy to set them straight. But obviously, as you're aware, in a public environment, there is no specific right to not have your photo taken. And I would question that wouldn't give them a power to eject you under the bylaws. The power of ejection under the bylaws is specific to certain circumstances, like being intoxicated on the railway, unacceptable behaviour. Unacceptable behaviour tends to be bylaw 6, that tends to be one that's used a lot because it's not really specifically defined, it's quite broad, but that would roughly sort of equate to like a public order section 5.
So they used that on me at Cardiff Central. There was literally, because I was literally filming in the station, and because somebody didn't like what me taking photos,
but to have
they ejected me under bylaw 6.
For it to be covered under bylaw 6, it's generally got to be something like, in my experience, where it's been put into practice. For example, you're challenged over a ticket, you've not got a ticket, and then start fucking this and fucking that.
Yeah.
That is kind of what's intended for. It could even be used, somebody having their feet on the seats and refusing to take them down. It is quite extreme, but somebody taking exception to you taking photos or videos legitimately isn't. That legislation shouldn't be used for that. That's
what I thought.
If you're I assume you're like YouTube or something.
YouTube.
So you know better than anyone what how far your rights to film and stuff go.
Because I've had a good read into the bylaws, and there's nothing that they can actually get you for
Bear in mind
filming.
as well, these bylaws were mostly written in like the 19th century. So is it open to interpretation? Yes, they're highly subjective. But I would be having a discussion if a member of rail staff was physically ejecting somebody from a station because they're exercising their right to take photos.
I mean, it's technically assault, and
well, it's not technically. I mean, it
is assault.
Unless there's a power there and it's used properly, then it would be.
It would be an assault. That's what I thought.
And I would encourage you to report anything like that as such. But if you're, I wouldn't put yourself in a position where it's going to result in a conflict. Obviously, you know what's right. You also know what reaction you might get from them. If you're in any doubt, rather than enter into a confrontation where it could end up being 6 or 1 house doesn't know the other, where you're going to say this, they're going to say that. It's probably going to be 3 or 4 of them and you on your own. Obviously, you're going to videoed it. I wouldn't come knocking on the door here.
Come speak to
report it
BTP.
on 6106 or 101, and I'm sure the cops will set them straight.
Well, usually, I mean, they didn't seem to know they didn't seem to be able to interpret the bylaws properly at Cardiff Central, the Welsh BTP unit. So
they should do.
You think so, wouldn't you? But I think they probably know now. But
they're very useful bits of legislation when they're used in the right context. But they're not just intended as a. I've had this debate with people before where to argue with somebody isn't the same as being aggressive towards somebody.
Exactly.
So you can have even a heated discussion over a point of principle, that doesn't mean to say you've crossed the line into the point where it's a criminal offence.
And that's the thing, a friend of mine got arrested for that sort of thing, because he was saying it's called having a backbone and standing up for yourself, but they still went and arrested him in Section 5 public order.
Yeah, so. and you know, it comes down to like the language used. You know, where swear words start getting used, then obviously it falls more into public order act then. But you know, if you keep a level head and you're having a discussion, then as long as it stays at that pitch. But equally, you might find that frustrates people more because they're not getting a rise.
Yeah, that's true.
But I hope that answers your question.
No, that's brilliant. Thank you very much.
Well, all the best.
Constable 3096. Yep.
Yeah, I'm able to Somerset. I was BTP for nearly 9 years.
What made you change to Avon or Somerset?
I'm a dog handler, so I was based here as the BTP dog handler for the South West, and then Avon Somerset.
What, you at Kennettsdale or Bridewell? Or?
Well, I was based here. Now I'm based in Almondbury.
Almondbury?
Yeah.
The dog section up there, yeah.
So they laid me off, I couldn't refuse to go over.
Yeah, fair enough.
Change is as good as the rest.
Yeah, exactly.
I had a great time working for BTP, and it's a good force to work for.
Definitely.
I did my time and was looking for something a little bit more challenging.
That's understandable, but you've got a wider area with Avon or Somerset, haven't you?
Yeah, it's kind of the same amount of work, but it's concentrated in force areas. So as a dog handler, you want to be proactive, you want to get there and work, whereas in BTP, it's stretched across the whole country. So the odds of being in the right place geographically at the time the job's on is pretty limited, whereas anything that happens in Avon or Somerset now, I'm there and I'm able to.
Whereas BTP are limited for the railways. So.
Yeah, across the whole country we get a lot of good police work, but if I'm hearing it's happening in London, we'll give them right here.
Is there any time when BTP do have jurisdiction off this?
Yeah, so we've got the same power as any other cops. So actually when I was in BTP, a lot of the work that I did was actually helping Home Office forces. So like, for example, I worked the week of the riots here. I spent the whole week working for Avon and Somerset. So the powers of extended jurisdiction, so effectively they can use their police powers anywhere. If they were off in the city somewhere, they have the same powers to deal with something that happens as any Home Office cop. The caveat is it's when they do that, they're kind of working under that force area. If Avon and Somerset police are really short and they say, look, we're desperate, we've got incidents we can't resource, can you help? Then if they step in to help, they're at that moment effectively Avon and Somerset police officers.
I didn't know that. I thought it was just literally around the railways.
It always used to be that way, and then it changed to sort of a certain radius of the railway, and then I think it was like 2001, it's anti-terror, crime, and something other acts, and it kind of really clarified it. It's the same for like MOD cops, I think.
Yeah, and MDP, I know I think they've got national jurisdiction as well.
Yeah, so it's the same. Effectively, it works in practice the same as if a Wiltshire officer crossed the border into, say, Gloucestershire. It works under very similar guidelines. If you've got a warrant card, you can do it.
Well, usually, if they're different county forts, it's usually part of an operation that they.
Yeah, if things spontaneously happen, or if you went off shopping on your day off, and then something like a shoplifting happened in front of you, you've got the power to deal with it.
And then again, wouldn't that be the same as anyone else, where they got the Section 24A power, citizens arrest?
So. Potentially. But certainly the way it works in practice at BTP is pretty seamless. There's no authorisation protocol or anything like that. And I never ever had a time when I didn't have the power to deal with something that I came across. And I'd say it's probably 50-50 really what I was dealing with. Because it's at the point where I knew there was something going on, I called up and said, would you like me to assist? The point where that offer was accepted, I've got full powers of constable to do it.
See, I didn't know that. I thought it was restricted to within a certain radius of the railway.
I'm sure the BTP senior management would probably prefer if it was restricted to the railway.
Yeah.
The last thing they want is their cops going off patch and helping out. But
when they've got to deal with things on the surrounding stations over the railways.
They've only got so many cops that work here. If something goes wrong, or if they're out and about, they need assistance from us. So it goes. I always looked at it went both ways. Where if we were proactive, helping out locally when we were in a position to do so, equally when we called up and said, could we have some help, they would come to our help, and then it just makes the world go round, doesn't it?
Yeah, they did tell me that I spoke to a BTP officer, it's quite a distance away, Doncaster, South Yorkshire, and they said they get a bit of support occasionally from South Yorkshire Police.
You've got to make it work locally. You've got to. You still get a bit of the whole, that's the railway, that's not.
That's good.
Yeah, and sometimes they're probably guilty of saying, oh no, that's not on the railway, that's on the locals patch, that's not for us to deal with. If it's something that they don't want to have to deal with, that's politics, you get that?
Yeah, definitely.
That was really nice to meet you.
Oh, and you.
Yeah, have a good
And
day.
you. Had a lovely chat.
Yeah, anytime. And
Yeah.
yeah, any problems, like I said, any problems, just knock on.
Perfect. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Take care. Get some of his car. There we are. That's his car there. There we go. Look at that. So Avon and Somerset car park. Oh yeah. There we go. British Transport Police. So he was Avon and Somerset. We had a detective from BTP, and wow, he's a nice chap. He was. Didn't expect to speak to Avon and Somerset here, to be honest, at all. And they were dropping in. He was dropping in, and he was telling me a bit about BTP. It's probably one of the most in-depth engagements I've had with British Transport Police. Well, with Avon and Somerset ex-BTP officer, ex-BTP constable at Avon and Somerset. So he's ex-BTP, now Avon and Somerset Constabulary. So this is Bristol Temple Meads. Absolutely magnificent station. So I think we're cutting, how long we've been recording? 47 minutes, Brian. It's just gone 4 o'clock. So that guy down there said there'd be something going on at 4, so we're going to head off. Got loads of photos here. Just going to get a last video of the front. So yeah, British Transport Police here. So we'll pick it back, we'll see you guys in a bit. That's been BTP, Bristol Temple Meads. See you guys in the next one. So these are the protests regarding the expansion of Bristol Airport. We literally had the mayor, the Metro Mayor then. Quarters adjourned. It's got some police liaison officers over there. How you doing? All right. You liaison officers?
Yes.
Ah. Now, so I've heard this about the protests for the expansion of Bristol Airport. So how's everything gone? Because I know that people in the area have been against the expansion. It was voted in the local council for North Somerset, and they'd opposed. The vote had gone against the expansion of the airport.
I've no idea what's happened in court.
You have no idea what's happening in court, neither do I, because I
haven't been in there.
No?
No, we've been out here all day and now.
Ah, right,
So I have no idea what's happened. Have you been in today?
No, but something just come out.
It's all technical. Court cases are always technical.
Going into another hour.
It could be worse, because if it was criminal, you'd have a jury, they'd be in and out on all these technicalities. You'd have to ask them out and back in. So,
Except
yeah, I've
it's a
got no
civil
idea.
court.
Sorry, what's happened? I don't.
No, not at all.
It's just very boring. It's going on for about, well, there's going to be a decision maybe possibly 2 weeks, possibly 2 months.
Ah, right.
Not today. There isn't a decision. Not today.
I don't think there's ever going to be a
So
decision.
we will see. I mean,
As far as I was aware, it was never going to be. There will be one, but not today.
I mean, there is good reason for why all these protests are taking place across the country, like against the oil, because the government have already said they want to invest in cleaner energy, which they're not doing. So
I'm not going to get drawn into a political argument.
no, you're not allowed to, are you? So
Well, it's not. I don't have all the facts to put an argument in.
No.
No, the police don't get involved in that, but I don't have all the facts to hand. You know, we deal with so many demonstrations, we can't possibly know them all about
yeah,
one or the other.
as far as I'm aware, the police aren't allowed to get involved with it. Are you?
Well, no, we're apolitical.
In terms of
We're
your-
not, we're not government employees. We're employees of the Crown, so we don't get drawn into politics.
because well, it's against your codes of practice anyway. So it's against your code of practice to go to.
Sorry, I got my radio on.
Isn't it against your code of practice to get involved with anything?
We're apolitical,
anyway,
so we don't support a political party.
That's what I thought, yeah.
At work, we can, you can have a political opinion at work. You can vote on that, but during work, we come.
But you're not allowed to voice it, are you? Though?
We're servants of the crown. The king is my employer technically. I work for the crown, so.
Well, and the public.
And the public.
So
there you go.
It's got to be non-biased, really. Exactly. That's the point. Because you want to.
Fear or favour.
Exactly. But so how come you're here? Because nothing's really. Everything's above board. So
yeah, but people always assume because we're here that we're expecting trouble. But sometimes, we can. It's a variety of reasons, really. Sometimes you might have a counter demonstration. Sometimes it might be the number of people. I mean, from what I understand, there was 100, 200 people here yesterday. A large amount.
Yeah,
of people.
I heard.
And then there's public safety, not necessarily because anything's planned to go wrong, but a lot of people. If fire, car, whatever. So sometimes the police come and be part of that. Obviously, this is a contentious topic because.
Of course,
that's why the whole point that being heard in court, isn't it? So sometimes we link with groups. We've worked with Extinction Rebellion a lot. Sometimes they have questions back, and I know this is banned as well. But sometimes people have questions back to the police, and we can put them to senior leaders. And yes, not this event today, but sometimes the police have to come and police an event. And that might be anything from. Sometimes we've had demonstrations, people said they're doing it, and there's another demonstration they're going to walk into. Sometimes they've said they're going to marches, and you say you can't go down that road because it's shut because of roadworks. Sometimes, because of safety and sheer volumes, we have to police.
So that's really what police liaison officers do,
yeah, exactly.
So.
Just passing information between the senior leaders in the police and the organisers of an event, answering questions and getting the information flowing.
So it's to liaise with both sides, really?
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
That's what it is, really.
There we are. Well, you have a lovely evening, chaps. Take care. There we are. How's it gone so far? Has anyone...
No idea what's happening inside.
Nothing from the court at all?
If you're for longer, you can ask them.
Right, okay. How you doing?
Hello again, you're back.
I am.
We're still waiting. It's like waiting to know when somebody could occur.
So there's nothing yet?
We won't know until it happens.
Yeah, I was just speaking to the police liaison officers over there.
Well, suddenly, people will start to trickle out and they'll have some words to say, but, until the judge is finished, everything carries on.
Yeah, definitely. So you don't know what's going on, but hopefully it will get voted against.
It's not like a criminal case where there's a verdict on the spot, guilty or not guilty. They'll go away for weeks or months and then write up a big report.
They reckon several weeks, so it's probably not going to be till after the New Year.
Or they'll lose it in the Christmas rush or something.
It could be a fortnight, they don't
Who
know.
knows?
Could be.
It could be either. These things are very elastic.
With the civil court, yeah, it's likely to take. It's likely to take a bit longer.
I've got problems with my banners, Archangel banners, so can I just have to leave them? I don't think we need them again.
So when are we likely to find out the results of?
Well, we were just saying, not for at least 2 weeks, and they were saying on the news yesterday, sort of a few weeks. I'll be surprised if we get a result before Christmas. Maybe just before Christmas.
Hopefully, but you never know with everything leading up to Christmas. Chances are they're gonna postpone it to suit them, aren't they? So.
Because the thing is, what's happening is, as far as I understand it, the judge will, just like in any case, will review all the evidence and then deliver the judgment, like they do in criminal cases.
Yeah.
But after the event, although with criminal cases you get a guilty or not guilty verdict the same day, that doesn't happen in civil cases. Well, a lot of not cases like this where there's inquiries and reviews involved, and then there's a report issued, and it just doesn't happen overnight.
Oh, of course.
And I suspect because anyway, something they've heard so much different evidence, and the judge can't really make an instant decision because it's just got a lot to weigh up, really. And needs to go through it probably in his or her own time.
So well, yeah, we'll have to wait and see, I guess. But
Yeah, it's not.
same with anything, really. It's all about,
Yeah,
it's all about time, it's all about patience. So
Yeah, I mean, with you know, if it's actually a trial, then you do get an instant result. You know.
but it depends, because that's more with criminal cases.
Well,
So
this isn't a trial. That's the thing. It's not a trial.
No.
It's
Well, it could be with a civil case against someone but this is
it's
related
like,
to.
It's like an inquiry, basically.
Yeah.
Except that it's a judicial inquiry.
So.
You know, headed by a judge.
And plus, well, it is a civil matter, so it's
That's why it's a civil matter. But in a civil case, I mean, if you were suing me for something, then I mean, the case might last, I don't know, weeks, but then at the end of it, on the last day, you know, there will be a judgment either by the judge or, if there was, in the unlikely event there is these days, but if there were a jury, then they would give an instant result as well.
Right.
So, I mean,
no, it's different scenario altogether. So.
yeah. And then what happens if it's a criminal case? Then the judge then announces sentence. So you know, a few days or a week or two later, announces the sentence. But, and that's also in civil cases. If there's you know, if there's the case is proved in a libel case, then the assessment of the actual damages might be sort of, you know, you do get a verdict, but you won't get a verdict.
Well, this is the same scenario with any civil case. It takes time. It takes quite a lot of time. There's different.
Well, a civil case, you get a verdict on the same day. If it's a case, as I say, if somebody's suing somebody else, you get a verdict at the end of on the last day of the trial.
Yeah.
But the difference is that that's a trial, either a civil trial or a criminal trial. This is not a trial.
That's the point, yeah.
Say it's more like an inquiry.
Inquiry, yeah. That's right. Well, it's been a pleasure talking to you.
Okay.
And you have a lovely evening.
Yeah, you too. Take care.
Take care.